Alrighty, welcome to another VOD review. Today we're going to be doing Mungi. So this is actually a pretty meaningful VOD, mostly because like this was near my introduction to EDU figures like LS. The first VOD review I ever watched was his review of Mungi. This was like in season 6. Mungi, it was like a really famous gangplank player. He was one of the few people a couple years ago that got like a 91% win rate into Korean Challenger, which is like unheard of at that point in time. So I just figured like I figured it's only right that I do my own VOD review of Mungi. So we're just gonna get into it again. A lot of people think of Gangplank as a really mechanical champion because of his barrel mechanics, but I think that this being Grandmaster 500 LP, Korean, probably like a really high MMR game. I hope that this shows people that you only need very basic combos in order to actually play Gangplank, and it's more about like what goes in between that matters. Um, the Jace Gangplank matchup is like a notorious counter. It's like a notorious matchup. You see it a lot in pro play. I'm not too familiar with how it goes in pro play. My understanding is that Jace's intention is to win the game by Serrated Dirk Eclipse, and if not, if Gangplank can survive that damage in the lane phase, he usually should outscale Jace, while Jace still will outrange him for majority of the game. So they do kind of like cancel each other out. I'm gonna go ahead and mute this one because this game's a little bit loud. But yeah, we can just get into the lane phase here. As you can see, they were doing a little bit of level 1 cheese. Yeah, he was just trying to get his bone plating down and stuff. And he actually doesn't have bone plating right here. So when Mongi goes for this trade here, he doesn't have bone plating for it, which is really important because that determines a large factor. And I think Jace identifies this as he goes for his trade. Um, and I just remember him like crying once this trade ends up happening. Oh fuck. So let's talk about this. Let's break this down just a little bit. So again, keep in mind during this whole trade, he doesn't have bone plating, so he's gonna take the full brunt of the damage. When if that Q didn't happen, he would have like an extra 75 damage mitigation, and this could potentially even be a kill for Mongi. So he goes for auto Q. That's really important. He Qs first, and then he autos, right? So his Q's on cooldown faster, and then he gets the movement speed and the burn off. He goes for another auto attack. You can see his grasp coming in here. He pops his corrupting pot, and as his Q's coming up, he goes for another Q. So that now he has two grass procs to start the lane phase. How much HP does he have? So he has 540 when the trade starts. He gets the Q. He has 545. So like for doing that trade, he got an extra 5 HP, which isn't the worst, but he did go through two corrupting pots. Now it's actually not the worst thing in the world. So Jace made the mistake. He didn't go refillable. He went. I don't know if it's a mistake necessarily. It actually no, actually I think it's probably to his advantage, because he does need to play aggressive early game. But Jace went longsword 3 pot. So Jace has to actually buy a refillable, so he's gonna be 300 gold just in consumables, while Mongi already only has corrupting pot. Keep in mind Mongi took corrupting pot, ingenious or whatever the potion mastery is. He took the potion mastery and cookies, so he will have the cookies sustain. So even though he's out of corrupting here, um he's not actually in the negative for gold even remotely. While Jace is actually going down into the negative for gold, he will have to recall on a refillable or buy more health pots, which will put him at a 300 gold deficit, which is going to delay his serrated Dirk, letting Mongi come into the game a little bit earlier. As you can see, like Jace is just using his advantage. I'd say Gangplank's Q is like roughly less range than Jace's auto range. I believe Jace's auto range is 550. I'm not sure what Gangplank Q is. I'll be honest. I think it's like 500. It's pretty far. They're really similar in ranges. He's using his Kid last hit here. Because getting grass procs is like kind of dangerous. Because it was casters and stuff. When they made the change, this is a very small change that made the whole world of difference, especially to Gangplank, right? Whenever you use point and click abilities on targets, minions aggro onto you. As you can see right here, the minions are autoing the other minion wave, but as soon as he Qs, they get aggroed and they go onto him. As you can see, he just does a one part there. If he lands that, that actually is a solo kill. Again, nothing crazy. He's not phantom barreling. He's not trying to go for a triple kill. You can see that he actually places most of his barrels near his caster minions. Oh, that's the eraser. He places most of his barrels like behind the caster minions or around the caster minions. So that way, circle 1 is here, and then like circle 2 is like always here. or in particularly here. So like that's the amount of pressure he's putting out. Um, so like that's pretty massive. Those are things you need to be looked to doing is especially if you're gangplank versus range. Now if you're gangplank versus melee, you can consider putting your barrels between the warrior minions. But versus Jace in particular, you're gonna need to keep it near the casters. We get an Ivern gank. I can't see the minimap, so I can't tell you too much about what's happening on the minimap because it is covered. So I will be reacting to some things like pretty much live. I won't actually know what's happening. It seems like Ivern's zoning him off from farm, so Mongi's gonna take this time to push the wave. You can see he doesn't level his W. He doesn't have the resource to. Something that's really important that a lot of people forget about, especially if you have a heal and a tier kit. Your mana is a resource pool, just like your health is, right? Um, so when you have like let's say you're gangplank, and a lot I see this a lot, right? You'll be gangplank with like 75% mana and like let's say one corrupting charge, and I won't see you use W, right? Like you need to be using W in situations like that. But in a situation like this where you have no mana, you have like you have enough mana for like a Q and like that's it. Um and you have like no HP either, and you need to push the wave because he has 30 seconds to push this wave before the next one comes in, right? So um fuck. Okay, so he puts the extra level in Q so he can clear the wave slightly faster. The increased base damage is gonna make the barrel do more damage, so it's gonna help him clear faster, which he absolutely needs. It's also gonna reduce the mana cost as well. So, and he's close to level 4, so he's gonna make up for putting the extra level in. This is why we like don't just like AFK and level um, while you're leveling abilities, because sometimes it might actually be more efficient to put 2 levels in your queue or something like that. Especially if you're playing champs like Echo, Jace is another example of this. Like there are plenty of champs where you need to be paying attention to what you're actually leveling, depending on situation. You see TP's back here. He has to buy Doran's Blade. This is where Futures Market shows how OP it is because he could have Sheen if he had Futures Market. Like yes, the biscuit did help him. The cookie did help him sustain a little bit, but all in all, I think futures market would have more value for sure. Especially right now, it's you can definitive I can definitively say that because he would have Sheen. You can see how he's trading here. We could talk a little bit about this trade if it's over. Okay, let's talk about this trade a little bit. This is kind of crazy. So he's got 3 casters coming in. They start DPSing his front line. He autos the minion, so that this is for movement speed. It doesn't matter what you auto with Gangplank passive, as long as you auto something, you get movement speed. He uses it to go for a Q. As you can see, his grasp is coming up, so him queuing early is fine because it's going to come off cooldown right as his second grasp rock is coming up. He goes for another Q here, just for DPS. He kites back, right? It's a pretty clean trade. The reason he knows he can do this is because he's far enough from the minion wave that he won't actually draw aggro from his Qs or from his auto attacks. He does go for a passive proc here and he doesn't end up getting it. That is a bit unfortunate. It gets him autoed again. If he had been more cognizantly moving, like more Z stepping, he probably would have avoided that trade. But all in all, that was a really good trade, and this is helping him come into the game. What he really needs to be worried about is Jace's next recall because he'll still be on like Doran's Blade and he won't be close to Sheen. And Jace for sure has Serrated Dirk on next back. For sure has Serrated Dirk. Ivan's coming up. Ivan's coming for the camp here. Monkey goes for the auto Q, and it's a solo kill. Let's break that down a little bit. Now, this is a gank, but it's still important for how you play for junglers. You can see that he's not really giving away that his jungler's coming. Again, we can't see on the minimap, but we know that Ivern's really close because we can see the vision here. Um, and you see how he's not like he's never clicking on Jace. You can see the head of his champion and how his mouse is moving. He's only moving really in this circle, and he's like just kind of zoning from the cannon. And it seems like that's what he's doing. So Jace is like, oh, he's zoning from the cannon, but jungler could also be here. Jace is smart to play back here. Um, Jace is smart to play back here and like really just uses EQ to CS. But he walks up just a little bit too far, and then Mongi punishes. This is a really good solo kill, really clean. And he doesn't give away his jungler. That's really important for top lane ganks, especially if they look like that. Don't give away your jungler, right? Like if you show too much intent by like clicking on them, right? By clicking on a person, because it's like, why is the gangplank who I've been zoning for like half an hour like going on me, right? Okay, so I think he's like pulling the wave together. I'm not sure what that is. That might be advanced tech. We'll see what that does to the mini wave. I think he just pulled it to the side a little bit. It looks like they cut out him walking the lane. I hope that nothing happened. Like he didn't F key to anything important. Um, let's see. He's gonna hit 6 here. Now, normally I would love to like especially if you're playing Gangplank, it's really important to be F keying to see HP values and where minion waves are. Because sometimes, ooh, wow, he's getting hard count. Are you kidding me? I'd be sad as fuck if I was Jace. Yeah, it's really important to look at F key to HP values to see where mini waves are, because sometimes it actually might be the moves on Gangplank to help somebody shove a wave under, um, using your ultimate. He just used it there for a gank, which is cool. You want to be keeping Gangplank cooldown. You want, for lane phase at least. I'm pretty confident in saying that you want to almost be using it off cooldown. Now, a lot of people don't know this. Gangplank's passive works with turrets. So whenever you pop a barrel, whether you shoot it or auto it, you get another stack of your passive. They're gonna bush cheese here. He's pinging his barrel cooldown, so Ivor knows that he needs 13 seconds. It's roughly 20 seconds that barrels stay up for early game. 20 to 30 seconds, so he has a little bit to combo here. He has a little bit of time to combo. Ah, fuck. Yeah, just didn't walk up to the me wave there. And this is gank 3 for Ivor. This is amazing. Holy shit. Oh, this is a good VOD. I have confidence. I mean, like the matchup is kind of fucked, so him getting kept kind of makes sense. We could talk about the mid game mostly then, since it seems like this is like kind of a one lane. This is something really important on Gangplank too. Um, so when you're playing Gangplank, right? Maybe we'll do 2 lane phases. We'll do another monkey game after this. When you're playing Gangplank, right? And you're clearing and you have Sheen. So when you're level 7 with Sheen, which is pretty much when you should have Sheen. If you don't have Sheen at level 7, FF the game, you lost. Okay, but or you don't have Futures Market. When you're level 7 with Sheen, you just need to do 1 Sheen auto on barrel to soften the minions to get them low, and then your second barrel, if you EQ with Sheen proc, it'll actually just clear the entire minion wave, right? So it's these minions are already low, so he didn't need to do it. But just for future reference, if you're ever clearing minions on Gangplank, that's how you should be looking to clear. It looks like he's going for Trinity this game, which is probably a really good move. I don't know the enemy team comp too much, because again, there was no pregame for this VOD. And we can see he's just clearing the wave. He's just going to key the caster and walk away here. Also, around Sheen is when you should be looking to get more Silver Serpents, because you have an easier time clearing waves with EQ. So like now, stacking your Silver Serpents is really important. Your gold doubloons. Looks like he's gonna stay because Ivan's gonna drop Rift and he's trying to get plating maybe. Again, I can't see the mini map, so I really don't know. Okay, yeah, because Thresh came up. Okay. And they get another solo kill. Holy fuck, he got hard count. Yo, F in the chat for Jace. Holy shit. Alrighty, and then they're just gonna push on the turret. And this is gonna give him his level advantage. Yeah, let's we're just gonna stop this fuck. Yeah, we're gonna stop this VOD here, and I'm gonna do another lane phase, okay? So see you in 0.5 seconds.